Hi, and welcome to part 3 of the Multiverse Saga. Now in this video we will start off with Loki Season 2 and finishing with Avengers Secret Wars as we come to the conclusion of the Multiverse Saga. Now before we begin, may I remind you that there will be spoilers, so strap in, grab some popcorn and let's get started. First, we're going to watch Loki Season 2. Now this show picks up immediately after Season 1, but because the show takes place outside of time, you can watch this a little bit later. Now this show expands upon the end credit scene that we saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and also references the defeat of Kane from that same film. We see the return of Mobius, Sylvie, B-15, Renslayer and Miss Minutes, and we're introduced to a new character called Ouroboros. By the end of this season, Loki becomes the god of stories as he holds the entire multiverse together in the form of the Yggdrasil tree. Next, we're going to watch What If Season 2 as we continue to explore stories from the multiverse. We're introduced to Kahori, a brand new character specifically created for this show. By the end of the season, the Watcher reveals to Captain Carter the multiversal tree, which we saw at the end of Loki Season 2. Next, we're going to watch X-Men 97. Now this is a continuation from the original 90s X-Men animated series, so you may consider this to be a Season 6. We see characters such as Forge use the mystic arts like we see in Doctor Strange, and we catch a glimpse of the Watcher. Now if you did a naughty and skipped the Marvel animated series side quest, then by watching this show will give you a better understanding of characters such as Gambit and Storm, who will pop up again very soon. Set in the year 2024 in the Fox's X-Men universe, we're going to watch Deadpool and Wolverine. This film takes place after Loki Season 2 as we hear the TVA no longer prunes branches of the timeline. Now if you've done your homework and completed SideQuest D and SideQuest E, then there should be no surprises here. We see the return of many legacy characters such as Elektra, Blade, X-23 and the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four films. We finally get to see Channing Tatum play the character Gambit, whom you should be familiar with after watching X-Men 97. We also get a comment about the many actors who've played the Punisher, where if you've done your homework you would know that there's been 4 actors who've played that character. Not only are we introduced to new characters such as Cassandra Nova, Lady Deadpool and Dogpool, but we see variants of characters from these legacy films such as the Russian from the Thomas Jane Punisher film, Bullseye from Ben Affleck's Daredevil, as well as Sabretooth, Toad, Lady Deathstrike, Azazel and Juggernaut from the Fox's X-Men saga. Jumping over to another multiverse, we're going to watch Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, a reimagining of Peter Parker's Spider-Man story. We are reintroduced to Nico Minoru, whom you would have met in the Runaways show, and we catch a glimpse of the Watcher in the final episode. We're introduced to brand new characters such as Norman and Harry Osborn, as well as Amadeus Cho. Next, we're going to watch the third and final season of What If as we conclude the stories of Captain Carter and the Watcher. We're introduced to another original character called Birdie, as well as Storm, the goddess of thunder, voiced by the same actress Alison Seeley Smith, who voiced Storm in the X-Men animated series and X-Men 97. And if you listen carefully, you will hear the same X-Men theme song.
Next, we're going to watch Marvel Zombies. This show takes place 5 years after the zombie episode seen in Season 1 of What If. We are reintroduced to characters such as Kamala Khan, Riri Williams, Kate Bishop, Shang-Chi, Yelena Belova, Red Guardian and much more. And debuting for the very first time to the MCU, Blade.
Next, we're going to watch Season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. Now this show starts off in 2025 after Matt Murdock's appearance in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. It then jumps forward 1 year later to 2026 and then finally moves over to 2027 when Wilson Fisk becomes Mayor of New York on New Year's Eve. We see the return of Karen Page, Foggy Nelson, Vanessa Fisk, Benjamin Poindexter also known as Bullseye, Frank Castle's Punisher, and Jack Duquesne, whom we saw in the Hawkeye series. We are also introduced to a brand new villain known as Muse. Next, we're going to watch Captain America Brave New World. Here we see the return of Sam Wilson as Captain America, Joaquin Torres as the new Falcon, and Samuel Stearns as the leader, whom we met all the way back in The Incredible Hulk. We finally get an acknowledgement of the Celestial coming out of the ocean, which we saw in the Eternals film. It is within this Celestial that we discover the new metal known as adamantium. We're introduced to the Red Hulk, and from the Serpent Society, Sidewinder and Copperhead.
Set on Earth 828, we're going to watch Fantastic Four First Steps. Introducing us to Marvel's first family, we have Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm's Invisible Woman, Johnny Storm's The Human Torch, and Ben Grimm's The Thing. We are also introduced to Shalabar's Silver Surfer, Galactus, and Mole Man. The end credit scene takes place 4 years after the film's finale, introducing us to the villain known as Doctor Doom.
Following the events of Captain America Brave New World, we're going to watch Thunderbolts. This film sees the return of Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, John Walker, Red Guardian, Ghost, and Taskmaster. Valentina Allegra de Fontaine mentions a president becoming a red monster, referring to President Ross's turn to the Red Hulk, and we are introduced to a new character known as Sentry. The end credit scene takes place 14 months after the events of this film, as the Thunderbolts, now known as the New Avengers, prepare for the arrival of the Fantastic Four. Now, at this time of recording, we are currently up to date with everything that Marvel Studios have released. As they continue to release new films and TV shows, I will update this timeline accordingly based on where everything should be watched. So please hit the like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with this watch order. I'll see you soon.